This is one of my cards that I send to my customers or clients or anyone who I like to give some happiness to or joy. It's really like, oh, I'm getting a piece of cake, like having an interview about visual communication. If you would have said that 3 years ago, I would have like, what? No. I'm going to make money with visualizing stuff. No. I'm going to make money with drawing. I have my own company. No. A lot of people are like, what are you doing with that intuitive stuff? No one's understanding it. We don't know what, we just want to see a puppet and we see a figure and we want to, because that's a part where I really love to connect with. It's this deeper knowing, deeper. You can't always find words for it. You just have to show it. And you just have to do it, and you just have to connect with it.
For the future generation, we are going to do a big deal of favor.
I have traveled to more than 20 countries across 4 continents in the world.
Hello everybody, welcome to SWOW series, the strongest women of the world, a global talk show where we celebrate strength and achievement of women from all over the world. Women are achieving extraordinary feats in everything that they choose to pursue. It is time to bring such inspirational stories out in the world so that many more women and girls will choose to find their strength and achieve whatever they wish. Simply put, this show brings the best women in the world to inspire the rest of the women in the world. Bear in mind, this entire show is absolutely non-scripted. Everything that we spoke here on the show is heart to heart. And today's guest is a unique artist who simplifies complexity. She is a Tedx speaker from Amsterdam who chose to facilitate individuals and organizations on visual communication while she actually graduated from pharmacy and clinical research. Instead of using medicines as an intervention to support health and well-being, she now uses markers to make things happen. She expands your view of your horizon with visual communication and process design through sketches. Her business, Bienerbij, helps to strengthen creative confidence of organizations, teams, and professionals. Also, for individuals, she creates soul illustrations. Help me to welcome Jacobien Vermande, founder of Bienerbij. Hi Jacobien, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me.
I should also thank you very much for being part of this show, Strongest Women of the World, and in the middle of your holidays. So
it is.
Let me ask this question, right? I mean, what is the role of visual communication at this time? The way that you're putting on the work is really amazing, but how does this impact an individual or a business?
Well, in so many varied ways. I mean, our visual system enables us to see the world, to get the meaning of what we do, find solutions. It can support us in our way of thinking and communication. And I think adding the visual to your communication will just give it power, make it more engaging, make sure that people have focus and attention to what it's really about instead of all over the place or looking at the wrong thing. If you make something visual, you actually make it more tangible. So you can actually have something out there and say, look at it. Is this what we're talking about? Instead of, I'm talking about this, and then asking, is this what we're talking about? And then the other one has to process it in their mind and say, I think so. But if you put it out there, make it visual, then you can talk about that instead of my vision against your vision. So you talk about something that's real.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I mean, can you tell me why we get more clarity? Because as a corporate leader for a very long time and also being an entrepreneur, I know how powerful, a simple flow chart instead of keep talking, right? How powerful it is. But why is it? Scientifically, is there any reason why we absorb very fast with the visuals?
A fast working system. I mean, when we were out there in the jungle, we needed to see a lion within the trees. We had to act as quickly as possible to save our own lives. So this visual system in our minds is just really apt to working very fast, and that has its advantages. because you really can act upon what you're looking at. The disadvantage is that it might work too fast. So you have your prejudices and you know your preconditions is also in the visual system. So when I'm looking at a situation, I automatically think, oh, this is, and then I act upon it. So that's the disadvantage, that it's so rapidly evolving that you might take a decision too fast without really looking at it, you know, taking the time. If you make it on a sketch note, if you're visualizing it, then you actually process it. It takes time to let your hand put on the paper what you're actually thinking. So in that processing time, you pay attention to, okay, is this really true what I'm thinking? Is it correct? Is it clear? Is it what we agreed upon? So you put a bit of lag time into what you're thinking and what you're processing and creating on the paper. And in that time, the other one can think, yeah, what you're putting on the paper right there, it's correct. Or he can say, what if you would put this part of the process in front of that one? What would happen? So instead of doing it all in your mind, which is going rather quick or preconditioned, you can actually put it out there and talk about what you think with a bit of there's a bit of time to process it out on the paper. I think that's also, you have a lot about left thinking and right thinking, you know, the right part of the brain, left part of the brain. A lot of is going on in neuroscience about that. In my opinion, the linear thinking, the way we linear process things, you know, is sequential, going from A to B, taking the fastest route to a solution. That's all being processed in the world you talk about, you know. We have to, quick and dirty is also linear thinking. We have to go that way and it's going. And then you have the other one, the more intuitive, abstract, sensing. It needs time to process everything. Drawing opens up that part of the thinking. And if you add it to the linear way of thinking, well, that's like magic is going to happen, because then you collaborate the fast linear thinking with the more abstract, sensing, intuitive, creative thinking. And then if you let them work together, and drawing is a means to do that, then you can really look at what is going on and what is actually the best way to solve it, or what's another way to solve it, or how can we make everything connect together. And drawing can give you access to, visualizing can give you access to a wider view.
Yeah, I see that actually. It's really, really very important. You put in two important aspects here. One, the visual communication, the sketch actually declutters expectation mismatch between two individuals, especially while the exchange of information is happening. And the second thing is that will naturally increase the efficiency of the work, because things are going to, happen much faster, right? But, I would like to ask, right, how this is going to, I've seen that you also do business sketches. How you actually implement this in business sketches? Would you, can you explain that?
Organized and to process everything, for me, it helps to put it on paper in a sketch, because otherwise I find it very difficult to focus. I think a lot of companies are very good at doing that focus and are less apt to look around. Or you have people and companies that are everywhere and find it difficult to add focus to their work. So if for both ways of thinking, for both struggles, so too much focus or too little focus, you can use the business sketch to explore what is necessary to go to the next level. Maybe for some it's bringing focus to a certain theme or a certain project. Maybe for other teams or companies, it's to explore new ways. In both cases, you can use the business sketch to help them going to the next level, to help them making the right decisions, to help them bringing in the company what's necessary, of what is, or where they want to go to find to maybe to create vision, more structured strategy, or just to connect people. Like in this way, in the world we're living now, it's very difficult to connect with each other on a different level. Now you can do that by speaking to each other, or you can call each other, but you can also just create a vision together, and to add aspects of what you find important, and then you can decide, oh, wait a minute, we've overlooked that part, or we just found out that we need to have more engagement, or that we need to have more personal information about each other to connect more. You know, there's such a varied way in how you can use the visualization, I think, to make a company stronger, healthier, more involved, more engaged. On all those levels, it helps them.
This is really a very important thing. But let me ask, right? Your entire background is into the, when you studied, it was into pharmacy and the clinical research. And that's a very much, I would rather say, it's a huge thing by itself. It's a different industry. From there, coming into helping companies and individuals getting into this visual, what kind of journey you had and what thought process you went through?
Well, I think I have a lot of imagination and a lot of creativity within me. I see a lot of things. I'm kind of the holistic viewer. I look at systems as a whole. But sometimes not everybody understands how I look at things. Not everybody can connect to what I see. And to have a more organized, a structured way of working, more pragmatic. Well, the background pharmacy helped enormously, because you really need to be processing things. You have to work according to protocols. So it's very structured and framed. And even though a large part of me couldn't, disconnected with that industry, but the part of structure and focus on quality and focus on efficiency really helped me to actually create a business right now. I think without that experience, without that knowledge, I would really be lost everywhere. So I now have the ability to use the creative part of myself, to use the intuitive part, the left side thinking, and combine it with the right side focus, linearity, protocol way, so I can really build a company. Also, if you look at pharmacy, it's all about how can we stimulate or help to strengthen the systems within the body. Yeah. I do the same right now. The only intervention it would have been pills and medicines and vaccines. I had my focus on that as an intervention, and now I have my markers and my paper. I do the same. I still help people to heal. I still help people to find where do we need to focus on, where does our power and capacity lie. It's the same thing within pharmacy. You look for what's necessary to get a more healthier system, whether it's a body or not.
What made you to think that you're made for visual communication? Where the thought has come, or when did you think that no, this is my path?
Sometimes I had a bit of a struggle 3 years ago, and I had a struggle with working in a system with only protocols and SOPs, the standard operating procedures, I felt like stuck. And a friend, she called me and she said, hey, listen up, I'm going to do something really great. I'm going to be part of this training course. It's about visual communication and I'm going to draw. And I was like, I have to be there. So within 3 minutes after that conversation, I signed up and I did that course. That's where it started. I already did a lot of drawing and painting when I was younger. My grandmother was an artist, so it runs in my family, and I already did a lot of visualization already, but not on this level and not with the dedication I have right now. But it started with being stuck in a world I couldn't move. I didn't feel I could move anymore, and I wanted to get out. And sometimes you need a bit of conflict to be pushed out of a certain situation, and just start somewhere else. When I started that course, I didn't expect to be at the place where I am right now, like having an interview about visual communication. If you would have said that 3 years ago, I would have like, what? No. I'm going to make money with visualizing stuff? No. I'm going to make money with drawing? I have my own company? No. Oh, and also because a part of my work is that I use cartoons as a way to to help people connect again with their own sense of humor, their own creativity, their own visual thinking. If you would have said to me that I would use cartoons to do that a couple of years ago, I would have like, no way, really? So it is. Things can really change.
I see that dramatically things can change, but I think you believed in it. You believe that it is your calling, and then you actually followed it. That's really important. You have something to show of your work?
I have a couple of postcards that I can show. This is, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, this is one of my cards that I send to my customers or clients or anyone who I like to give some happiness to or joy. So it's really like, I'm getting a piece of cake. But this is not, this is a bit of my style. And usually I make these big visual recordings, not live, but I process the information, I look for the core, the essence of information, and then I'm looking at how to structure this and how to add a bit of emotion and soul to it, so another person can look at it and feel engaged and wants to know more, wants to get into it, wants to dive into the knowledge. So that those are more. This is like just an illustration, and other are more like the big things that you add to online meetings or a report or just on a wall. You can use it anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Depends on the purpose.
And what is the soul illustrations? What does it mean?
Yeah.
What do you do with the soul illustration?
Well, there is this you have in graphic recording and graphic practicing. That's like the field, the industry I'm in. You have this small piece that's generative scribe. And generative scribe is a way that you kind of have a more intuitive way. So it's not like, okay, we're talking about strategy, so I'm going to draw an arrow, and then this is the way we're going to work. No, it's like a more artful way of displaying what the system wants you to know, like what's the system behind the organization. So it's a more intuitive approach to visualization. It's kind of more abstract. It's more of a, if you have the iceberg model, do you know it? Like what you see above but you have also a lot of things going on under the water. Well, if you use that metaphor, then a lot of things you can't see yet is already part of what's going on. What if you would use a visualization to take that up on a piece of paper? Or what if you can make that what's going under the water, if you make that more tangible, if you let that speak for itself. Now, this is a very intuitive way. It's also very abstract. But I wanted to explore what I could do with that within that field. But I didn't want to do it business-wise, because I thought, oh no, a lot of people are like, what are you doing with that intuitive stuff? No one's understanding it. We don't know what, we just want to see a puppet and we see a figure and we want to know what's out there, not the intuitive part. So I asked a more spiritual coach person, like my friend Jennifer, and we were both Tedx Speaker coaches. And I was like, what if you and I work together and you bring in the energy and I tap into that energy and see what I can draw. Just not with my head, but with my soul. What if I can connect to the collective, or the collective wisdom? What if we together just tap into that energy and see what my pen is going to draw? What happens?
Wow.
And actually that's, and you notice me, I'm now getting, because that's a part where I really love to connect with. It's this deeper knowing, deeper. You can't always find words for it. You just have to show it, and you just have to do it, and you just have to connect with it. So we made, I tap into the energy, or Jen creates an energy field, I tap into it, and then we just start drawing for 30 minutes. And we have like 20 little sketches. It's like, I can show you this, it's like these kind of.
Oh yeah, very, okay.
It's like these kind of symbolic sketches that we make, and it's people, they do something. It's like they have this energy within the drawing, and if you tap into it, the thing is, looking at it without your mind keeping telling you, oh, this is nothing, what is this? Oh, you know, that the brain clutter you can have. No, this is something you have to look at with your heart and just see what it does, see how it sparks something, or see how it connects to you, how you can relate to it without having to think about it.
I feel, frankly, Jacobien, I think it's not just individuals who should find that soul illustrations very interesting. As you see it, a lot of enterprises are becoming conscious enterprises, which does mean that, you know, a business is not successful just because it is supposed to be successful. There is an undercurrent, just like you said, right?
Yeah.
Iceberg, like you said. There's a huge thing which is under it, which is operating without you even knowing.
Yeah.
Either you can put in effort to understand what is really going on there and feel aligned to it, or probably just being ignorant, just run the organization just by the numbers. So what you said is absolutely true. I feel there is a need for the organizations to really become more and more conscious in these times. Now people really understand what does it mean. Probably, like you said, right, 3 years, 5 years back, if you talk about this, probably they may say, oh my God, okay, yeah, that's, I mean, I used to say that because, I mean, I used to run only behind the numbers, how many millions and what is the time, you know, these are the only two things I used to look at. But I think you made a very, very, very important point on how organizations should also open up their mind to say that, yeah, soul illustrations for my organization, because organization for me is a soul. Unless...
Well, that's true. And you have to tap into that field of information. But I still, and as we talk about this, that's the trouble I think we have to, how do you find the right words that make like the type of person, the type of organization you just talked about, how can you use the words that connect to their way of looking at things? That's still the struggle we have. How can I, which words connect, make a connection between that other field of information and just the rational way we're used to do things. I mean, if we can connect those both worlds, that's like connecting right and left together and making it work together. There is so much more information we can tap into that will help us lead a way, that will help make things work, make things evolve, that will help to create a better world. It's like we have to open up some senses, other senses than we're used to connect to that other types of information. And I think the intuitive field, might be the field of wisdom we all long for in the way like we need to help us out.
There's no doubt about it. This is absolutely true, and more organizations are realizing the impact of it. It's previously it used to be called, I used to build blueprints, but blueprints is full of numbers and words. But then, as you said, it is definitely possible to connect to that level. And in a way, there was a research where to test this on certain number of companies which have less number of employees to see its impact. Once the result is shown and proven, I'm sure everybody would love to follow that. And I wish you all the best in that process, because this is much needed right now for people to get much deeper into the soul and understand, be it individually or at an organizational level. But otherwise, I want to say a big thanks to Jacobien for your time in sharing all your wisdom about the visual communication, visuality, soul illustration, and all along your clinical research as well. I want to say, is there any last advice we have from you before we really conclude this very interesting conversation, Jacobien?
Well, I think we have to tap into our own open-minded view, to open up the heart, open up the soul, open up our minds, so we really connect to what we need to do together.
Together, yes, that's the message for you all, audience. Open up your mind and open up your heart and live your life fully. And if at all, if you want to connect to Jacobien, all the links will be there in the description. Go and click and reach out to Jacobien, or maybe leave a message to me. But make sure to leave a comment below. What is your biggest takeaway from this video? If you have not hit the subscriber button yet, make sure to hit it right now, and share with every single person out there where this message can make an impact in their life. Otherwise, I'll see you with another amazing guest in the next week. But for now, in this particular episode, me and Jacobien say thank you so much for tuning into this video, and thank you so much, and bye-bye.